Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment inquiry.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
The government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You gotta acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
Who the fuck is you talking to?
I think when it comes to
like, who the fuck is you talking to for real? Even talking like that?
If a man
like that be the shit.
Takes charge and he shows that he's logical.
Same people. That's number two. That's all theater. This is WWF.
Who the fuck is you talking to? You feel me? Like, who the fuck is you talking to for real? Even talking like that? Like, that be the shit, and that's what make a motherfucker be wanting to get into it with y'all, because y'all ain't got no respect. What's up, bro? What's up? Hell no!
They calling them now, bro.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm 85 Slim.
I'm Ken Billion is what it do.
I'm Heaven.
Doc.
And I'm King J.
So that video went viral. This was of a guy who previously he was at a store. A guy tried to take his chain, and then he was on Facebook Live, and he ended up losing his life, and the guy ended up taking his chain.
Ken, how do you feel about him being on live, and is live like dangerous for people that's stunting?
I don't know if he was stunting. I mean, in the world of change, that was pretty minor. I'm more concerned about, we've been watching people die on camera for a minute, and I wonder what kind of collective PTSD that gives us, where we're kind of used to black men dying on camera, whether it's unaliving himself, police doing it, or somebody running down. Like, it's kind of common, and the fact that we keep seeing it over and over, I know that the after effect of that has to make us very numb, because we're kind of used to seeing black men get their life took on camera. Like, that out of everybody else, out of all the rest of the group of men, the black male dies on camera a lot. And I know us watching that has an effect on us, but I don't know if he was stunting, because in the realms of change, that was pretty small.
Slim, you're a rapper. How you feel about dropping a location?
Man, it is what it is. It depends on where you are. Looked like that brother was in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't no white boys who did it. But, it's always black on black. You know what I mean? It ain't never like, I mean, it's unfortunate, but this is kind of like normal. Like, it's unfortunate, but we ain't gonna see no outrage. Ain't no Al Sharpton coming out. Ain't none of that going on. What's his name? Crump. The bald headed dude. Yeah, the other race baiting dude. He ain't coming outside. None of that. This is all we got. We're gonna cover it. Let's do the best we can. And I wish this brother's family the best.
Heaven, what you think? You're muted. You're muted.
About dropping the location?
I mean, just the fact that he lost his life on live. He was on Facebook Live.
We're desensitized to that. I mean, like Ken said, and sadly desensitized to it. I stopped watching TV a long time ago. I stopped watching the news. After George Floyd, I couldn't see another human being lose their life. So I purposely tried to steer away from any and all visual images of those things until the recent Holocaust in Gaza. So the collective trauma is very real. Very, very real.
Doc, what you think?
Man, shout out to Keith. Keith Ball, that's my cousin, that's my older cousin. So that's my oldest male cousin right there. So Keith gave me a lot of game growing up. And I know one of the first things cuz ever taught me is, you floss too much, somebody gonna take it. You know what I mean? And if you are who you think you are, that's a different thing. But some places it's about being smarter though. If I spend $10,000 for a chain, I know it's some YNs out here who will kill you for $500. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna have to go to the correct places. I'm gonna have to be in the correct places. I'm gonna have to conduct myself a certain way. Or, he living in that environment, he should know better. You know what I mean? But it appears that, he thought he was above that. And I mean, he raps, so I'm pretty sure if we go listen to his raps, it's probably gonna be about black on black crime. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna be in that environment and you're gonna talk like that, and you're gonna, that's part of what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? If he would have removed himself and been on the Gold Coast of Chicago, it would probably be some outrage. Like when FBG Duck was killed, everybody was outraged the way it happened at. But you know what I'm saying? That's just a part of it. Like, if you're gonna put it out there, there's somebody who's gonna come and get it.
For sure. King, I know you talk a lot about crime. Like, that guy, he had basically said that he was going to end up deleting the dude who was going to try to take it before. And it was a black dude he was talking about. So how you feel about, him feeling like he had a hammer on him for his own people?
Hey, look, I say you got to protect yourself all the time, man. Crime happens everywhere. It happens everywhere and anywhere. Don't matter who's doing what. So far as me, I don't drop my location for nobody. And if you find me, Hopefully you made good with your damn maker. But I don't believe in that. I don't believe in dropping locations, and it's just senseless. That I think it was senseless, and I don't believe in flossing either. I don't have to tell people about how much money I got. You could just see it in the way that I walk around. I ain't got to tell you nothing. But yeah, that was crazy, man. Hope you rest in peace.
Can I add this too? There's a misconception of just because we born around the same area that we're peoples. So whoever brought him out the car and did that, that's not his peoples. And if what happened to him is very American, because if there's a country right now that don't got the arms to protect their new oil reserve, we coming to get that, right? So that's a very American, right? All the stuff we have here, we're taking it from somewhere. So what happened to him, this is our culture. If you floss a new oil, if you floss a new aluminum, if you floss a new diamonds, oh, we coming for that. So to shrink it down and make it a black on black thing, it's an American thing. All the shit we have here, we're strong arming to get it. So it's not a black on black thing. It's an American thing. That's our culture.
And I'm glad you said that, Ken, because we're going to jump straight to it about Russia trying to take Ukraine away from them. So the reason I showed that is because people complaining about Trump having the red carpet out for Putin. Slim, you a huge Trump fan. Should the red carpet been laid out? People said that the soldiers shouldn't even have to lay the red carpet out for him.
Nah, I mean, the way Trump basically made that man walk to him, you know what I mean? And when he shook his hand, he pulled him in. You know what I mean? So that was a different sign. You might want to look that up. But at the end of the day, man, Trump doing his job, bro. He doing his job, and I'm loving everything he doing. You know, Biden could have did none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he doing what he's supposed to do. So I'm cool with it.
For sure. So I'm going to let him talk about it before I go to everybody else to hear from Trump himself.
Together almost 3 hours. And it was very extensive, and we agreed on a lot of points. I mean, a lot of points we're agreed on. But there's not that much. There's, one or two pretty significant items, but I think they can be reached. Now it's really up to President Zelensky to get it done. And I would also say the European nations, they have to get involved a little bit. But it's up to President Zelensky. I think we are, and if they'd like, I'll be at that next meeting. They're going to set up a meeting now between President Zelensky and President Putin. And myself, I guess, I didn't ask you about it. Not that I want to be there, but I want to make sure it gets done. And we have a pretty good chance of getting it done.
King J, was this an L for Trump? Did Trump accomplish anything with this meeting?
This shit was weak as hell. Weak as hell. We ain't never had a president in modern history willing to bend the knee to this fucking dictator. It's never happened. Never, even with Republican presidents. Bush didn't even like his ass like that. It was a distance there. So to be seeing America and Russia all cozied up like we best friends is absolutely disgusting, in my opinion.
Well, there's a lot of people that agree with you. So before I go to Doc, Ken, and Heaven, I'm going to let y'all hear from these people.
Compare that to what this administration has done, which has relieved almost all pressure. Like, look at what happened on Friday. U.S. military personnel in uniform literally were on their hands and knees rolling out a red carpet for the most murderous dictator of the 21st century. Somebody who is kidnapped and is holding prisoner tens of thousands of Ukrainian children. Somebody who started this whole war, right? This both sidesism that the administration is engaging in, that both sides need to come to the table and negotiate. Ukraine is the victim. They are the victim. They didn't start this war, Russia did. And somehow we keep on acting like Vladimir Putin deserves to be brought out into the open like any other head of state.
Yeah.
This is a historic embarrassment and defeat for U.S. foreign policy.
Doc, is this embarrassment? Is Ukraine the victim?
Maybe Ukraine is a victim. I don't want to get into deciding that myself personally. I don't think it's an embarrassment. How are you supposed to treat the leader of a superpower nation? You know, when he comes to American soil to negotiate with our president. So I just don't. I think people see that differently. I think if you're gonna meet with another man, and I think you're supposed to show him the utmost respect. If you think you're gonna meet anywhere in good faith, so do I think Trump showing him respect is? I mean, he has to. You know, if he wants to argue in good faith, but also why America always got to take the side of the fallen and downtrodden and come and be somebody's savior? Like it in general, this really has nothing to do with America. So the only thing he can do is have a conversation with him. I mean, I don't want to go to Russia. I don't plan on going to Ukraine, or I don't want to see my brothers or anybody kids or anybody's sons go there either. So I think he's going to have a dialogue at some point. And, you know, how does that go without leading with respect?
Okay, I'm going to show Rubio's lies, who's Trump's Secretary of State, where he changed his mind, and then I'm going to have Ken in heaven respond to this.
Frank, this is not our war. The United States is not in a war. Ukraine is in a war, and we've been supporting Ukraine. We happen to be in the role of the only country in the world, with the only leader in the world, that can actually bring Putin to a table to even discuss these things. Now, the president has traveled, all the way to Alaska, all the way back, has dedicated months and months of work, our entire team on this matter, because we want to see an end to the war. But if tomorrow the war continues, life in America will not be fundamentally altered.
Here's why it matters. Because after World War II, the world said that never again are we going to allow countries who decide that their neighboring countries belong to them to just invade and take them. Once they take one country, they never stop, they keep going. That was the case of Nazi Germany. Nonetheless, the world said we're not going to allow that to happen again. That's what World War II was about, and frankly, to some extent, that's what the Cold War was about. So as a result of that, we've lived in a world where we've avoided a third world war. It's important at this point to remember Churchill, if you want to go back into history, Churchill had people around him that were actually pushing for an option in which Nazi Germany was allowed to dominate continental Europe, but the UK could still be, the island could still be sort of independent and keep themselves apart from all that. He knew that that was a fool's bargain. He understood that Hitler would never be satisfied with that, and he understood that even if that arrangement happened, the Britain and the West would forever be dominated by and subservient to Nazi Germany. Thank God he was in charge and not some of these other people.
So heaven, as you can see, Marco Rubio changed his mind a lot once he got in the Trump administration. Is he allowed to change his mind, or is it because he's bootlicking Trump?
Everyone is bootlicking Trump. First of all, we should not be hosting war criminals. We shouldn't have done it when Bibi Netanyahu was here. We shouldn't have done it with Putin. They are both war criminals. Wanted by the ICJ. They should be arrested.
Okay, for sure. Ken, what about you? Is Marco Rubio just a tool?
Of course, man. I don't let nobody in the media tell me who's a bad person or not, right? Every president is a serial killer. So a killer's no killers. So you laying out a carpet for your kind, right? And it's in terms of bending the knee, we bend the knee every year for Israel. That's what we do. So every president bends the knee to Israel, right? So why not bend the knee to a person that got nukes, right? Killers, no killers. And to my knowledge, I think Putin was trying to stop NATO from keep expanding. I don't know, but I'm not going to let the media tell me who I can like or who I don't, right? They're all part of the talking heads. 1 minute, these people are your friends. Next minute, they're like, you should hate them. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I think Trump just gave the red carpet for someone who's his kind. They are serial killers. That's what they do.
And I want to show this graphic to show that basically the attacks have doubled since Trump's
For our
been in
viewers,
office.
it shows that Russian attacks on Ukraine have nearly doubled since President Trump came into office. And in fact, in July, Russia launched more than 6,000 missiles and drones. That's the highest amount of attacks since the war began.
And then I'm going to go to basically show you guys what Mike Pence, Trump's old vice president, had to say about what he should do with Russia.
Ambassador Witkoff say the meeting
Thanks
was
for having me on, Jake.
You just heard Ambassador Witkoff say the meeting was a big success. President Trump says the meeting was a 10 out of 10. What rating would you give it?
Well, first, I think the president should be commended for pursuing peace in Ukraine. This president has already secured peace agreements in Africa, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. I think he deserves credit as leader of the free world for not giving up on Ukraine, particularly, Jake, since there are many voices in and around the administration that would have cut Ukraine loose months ago. So I want to commend the president for trying to make progress. I must tell you, I would have liked to have seen a ceasefire, but the truth is that no deal is better than a bad deal. What we heard Ambassador Witkoff describe is encouraging, that there was at least an assent in Putin's and Trump's meeting to the United States providing security guarantees. And clearly the president didn't forfeit anything having to do with America's national security or with the security of our allies in Eastern Europe in the midst of this war. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's important to remember the bad guy here is Putin. Putin launched an unprovoked, brutal invasion more than 3 years ago. I've traveled to Ukraine twice. I've literally walked the streets, seen the aftermath of that brutal invasion. And now more than ever, America and our allies need to stand strongly with Ukraine and create the conditions for a just and lasting peace.
So, King J, I know you're mostly basically all Democrat. Does Pence coming out saying that Putin's the bad guy, does that make you trust Republicans even a little bit?
Hell no, I don't trust them people closer than I could touch them. I don't trust them folks. Nothing they do is good for me. So I don't trust them. I mean, I respect his opinion, but I just don't think what happened was good. I feel like as the president, if you want to be an intermediate, you should have at least brought the other president in so you can discuss the future of his country together as a group, not hold talks behind somebody's back. I'll be honest with you. If I was the president of Ukraine, I wouldn't trust you at all. Y'all just had a whole discussion about me. That's just like me. If I was sitting on the block and I see two folks having a discussion about me, you think I'm gonna trust either one of them and say they my homeboy? Hell no. Why y'all talk about me without me being there? That's my problem with that.
For sure. So Bawana said, then MAGA want to hang this guy. Heaven, is Mike Pence bitter? Is that why he going against Trump?
I think everybody should go against Trump and what he's doing, but that's my personal opinion. Because it's illegal. But nevertheless, I don't think he's bitter. But I wouldn't trust him. Not even a little bit.
For sure. So I'm going to get the guys to respond, but first I'm going to play what Bill Clinton said about Ukraine previously.
In Ukraine?
Well, I knew that President Putin did not support the agreement President Yeltsin made never to interfere with Ukraine's territorial boundaries. An agreement he made because he wanted Ukraine to give up their nuclear weapons. They were afraid to give them up because they thought that's the only thing that protected them from an expansionist Russia. So he gave them up. Yeltsin's word was good. He kept his word, but he couldn't pass it through the Duma. So when it became convenient to him, President Putin broke it and first took Crimea. And I feel terrible about it because Ukraine is a very important country, and I feel a personal stake because I got them to agree to give up their nuclear weapons, and none of them believe that Russia would have pulled this stunt if Ukraine still had their weapons. So I think what Mr. Putin did was very wrong. And I believe Europe and the United States should continue to support Ukraine. There may come a time when the Ukrainian government believes that they can think of a peace agreement they could live with, but I don't think the rest of us should cut and run on them.
Doc, they gave up their nuclear weapons, and now the U.S. turned their back on them. So does that make you feel any differently hearing that they gave up their nuclear weapons?
Nah, they some suckers. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody says. There's 100 people outside, and they be like, "Yo, Doc, give me your gun. It's gonna be 1-on-1." Never. You'll never get it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like that's a personal choice that they made. And the problem is these dudes who are sitting here talking and negotiating and deciding if it's gonna be peace or war, these dudes are 70 years old, 80 years old. These dudes not gonna send their children. They're not gonna send their grandchildren, their grandchildren's grandchildren. None of their children are gonna see the repercussions of this. None of them are gonna go fight and decide on this. So we listening to these guys who are running around that got one foot in the grave, and you know they decided something. Bill Clinton, I couldn't vote when Bill Clinton was president. So it ain't really. I don't. Maybe nobody on this panel could vote. I don't know. I don't want to say everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You know, but it's just a lot of people that's really old and like on the back nine, shit, the back three. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make these decisions and stuff, and I mean that's the decision they made. They got to live with.
For sure. So I'm gonna get Ken and Slim to respond on what the Australian Prime Minister had to say about Trump.
Trump with Putin, as I have on a few occasions, he's like the 12-year-old boy that goes to high school and meets the captain of the football team. My hero. It is really creepy. It's really creepy. Now,
and that struck you at the time?
Oh, absolutely. It struck everybody. It was like you could touch it. It was creepy. The creepiness was palpable.
Are you trying to say they're having a bromance?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just telling you what I saw. Regrettably, the Republican Party under Donald Trump, and particularly the right wing of the Republican Party, are very sympathetic to Vladimir Putin. I mean, I've been with Trump and Putin. Trump is in awe of Putin. Tyrants are often popular. You see, the key to democracy, liberal democracy, is that it empowers the majority, but it also, through the rule of law, constrains the majority. And if you get to the point where anybody who can muster a majority, and I don't think Trump can do that, by the way, but anyone who can muster a majority is given absolute power and then can do whatever they like to the minority, that's not a democracy. That is a tyranny. That is an autocracy, even if it's got the support of 51% of the population. That is not what makes a democracy. A democracy, as we understand it, is one where the rule of law protects all citizens and the rule of law applies to all citizens, whether they're the president or the prime minister or an ordinary, elector.
Slim, he said a mouthful. So is Trump just a guy that's happy to talk to the captain of the football team?
Nah, man, you know Trump ain't like that. And you a funny bro, man, because in your inbox, I know you got about 42 videos from me. That's heat, that's facts. You won't never play them. Everything is from the donkey Democrat point of view, yo. It's fire though, because I'm laughing because everything you get is CNN, MSNBC, all donkey Democrat nonsense. But you know I'll be sending you the fire. You know I'll be sending you everything that you mentioned to debunk that shit. But it's your show, but we ain't gonna go there. But with that being said, Trump is the man. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say that every day, no matter how much negativity you spill about the Brody, because he's doing a good job. You just don't want to put that information.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, if Trump was giving out oxygen, y'all would just stop breathing because it's Trump.
And you heard what I said before. Go ahead and put me in the motherfucking ground.
See?
Hey,
No reason.
You can't claim you're Epstein's best friend and just
Emotional
know what
liberalism.
he was doing at his house. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If he was handing out oxygen, go ahead and throw me in the goddamn ground.
Hey, Gray,
Quick.
let me ask you this. Did you send her the Epstein video I told you to send her? Probably.
No, but I said
Hey,
I'm
hey,
gonna put having that
only you.
Because guess what? Before all that Epstein stuff happened,
You wanted to
those
know about
pictures
it.
and videos of him and say like the interviews, it was all out there.
See,
For
this
sure.
is why you got to give her the information, bro.
I'm gonna put her in there. I'm gonna put her and Ken in the group chat after this. So, Ken, I gotta get your number after this and have him add you to the group chat. So, Slim, you just send it right in there.
You can't be best friends with a pedophile and say you didn't know.
Ken, what did you think of what he said about Trump?
Man, first of all, I'm side-eyeing when I'm hearing the Australian clergy talk about democracy. Are they talking about the same democracy that the English went and put on the indigenous people in Australia? That democracy, right? So all this should be capped to me. You know what I mean? Because when I think of democracy, it makes me think about the melanated people that live in Australia. And was it democracy when the English showed up? You know what I'm saying? So all that's cap. That's all theater. You know what I mean? It's one empire critiquing other empires. These people all represent the same empire and they do the same things. And when I'm listening to a Democrat or Republican talk about Russia, correct me if I'm wrong, American Samoa, Guam, Northern Marina, Puerto Rico, United States Virgin Islands, right? When we're land grabbing, when people is on there, I'm sure in other countries, they're saying what they're saying about Putin. They're saying the same thing about our officials. We land grab. We do the same shit. The difference is we watch American media. So Putin bad, our government good. In their country, their government good, our government bad. It's the same theater. Empires just doing WWF with each other. Same shit.
Slim, I got a video just for you. Since you want a video, I got one specifically for you.
Black folk all the time and somebody that's a child of a preacher. Listen, most black people are not Republicans simply because we just is like, y'all racist. I can't hang out with the KKK in them. That's really what it is. But when we think about who we are as black people and we think about where we come from, most black people have very conservative values, right? But the reality is that like we just can't side with like the neo-Nazis in them. We not dealing with y'all like that, right?
So Slim, I know she your favorite. So you know what did you have to say? What did you think about what she said?
Man, she ain't. I ain't messing with her. You know she a clout chaser, bro. I don't mess with that chick like that. Don't like her, don't respect her, don't care for her.
For sure. So, Heaven, do you feel like black shouldn't be Republicans because the Republican Party is racist?
I think nobody should be a Democrat or a Republican because what have either one of them done for any of us, really? But, I have to pay for water. That's natural. We got to pay for all kinds of stuff that we should be able to just get naturally. But,
I feel you.
Black people should get reparations. But let's not talk about that. There should be some land back movements, but let's not talk about that because neither party wants to agree on any of the things that actually matter. But they can agree to not show us the Epstein files.
For sure. So King J, I know you definitely gonna say they're racist. Do you feel like most black people are conservative?
I feel like in our nucleus, family-wise, black folks are very conservative. But I feel like we know what's at stake when we look at the stage of politics. And the Democratic Party is the guardians or the protectors of civil rights. And that's just my personal opinion. I mean, what party in modern time right now is actively moving to destroy civil rights? just the Republican Party. So when we talk about that, yeah, I feel like blacks as like when we talk about family values and stuff like that, very conservative. But when we look at the politics stage, we know what's at play and we know what's at risk if we fuck around with the folks that's playing with the KKK.
Ken, what you think?
I mean, doesn't the KKK come out the Democratic Party though? I mean, historically, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not choosing a side, but to assume, which is interesting, to assume that one side is one way and then the other side is not is mind-boggling. You know what I'm saying? When the history shows that the Democratic Party had the KKK is Dixiecrats. Malcolm X talked about this in the Ballad of the Bullet, right? So just because a lot of us come from welfare and a lot of us come from government cheese and free shit, so what we'll say is the Democratic Party is less racist because they give us free shit. But if they want to make test scores easier for you, if they want to try to ease life up easier for you because they don't believe you can cut it, that's racism because they don't think you're intellectually capable of keeping it up. So let me make it easier for you because I don't believe that you can cut it. That's racism too. It's one is a softer in your face or one is a harder version in your face, right? Pull yourself out by the bootstraps. You don't got no boots. The other one is a softer, milder form, but both is class conflict at the end of the day. But to pick a side though is crazy to me.
But see, when we talk about historically though, this is the issue that I have because when you look at the historical context of the Republican and Democratic Party, we can even draw instance with I can't even think of his name right now, but the Democrat that held the floor for what was it 24 hours back in the day when they were voting on civil rights, he was a Democrat, right? But later on, because Lyndon B. Johnson signed that bill, the civil rights bill, he later turned and flipped to the Republican Party because they then began to pander to the racist whites in the South. This is historically known and it's an actual historical fact.
So let me tell you the school of thought I come from. The school of thought I come from is do for self, right? Do for self. And Malcolm taught in the Ballad of the Bullet, Republican, Dixiecrat, same shit. And one group uses different language. That's all it is. But to choose a side when the people should choose themselves, I come from the school of thought of do for self. Now, when you look at the education of the Democrats, same fraternities, same sororities, same Masonic and Shriner links, right? But on the ground level, we will assume that one party has our best interest. Both sides are capitalists. Nothing wrong with capitalism. I'm just saying, though, both sides are capitalists. Both sides are rich. None of the Democrats are poor. None of the Democrats are with the junkies. None of the Democrats are in the trenches. They're not with the people. They're not doing Black Panther shit, free lunch programs, breakfast programs. I'm talking about in the trenches where the people really need it. It's the same thing, but don't ever choose a side to think one has your best interest or not. They're both part, same bird, different wings.
No, I definitely understand that. But and then I'll also say this: when we talk about education, the only party that we see attacking education, when we look at Trump, he's dismantling the Department of Education. And we can go back even farther than that when we look at Bush when he signed the No Child Left Behind Act. So which party really said we're going to make it easier for you because we know y'all don't understand?
I wouldn't put it on the Board of Education to educate my child, though. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think those two are comparable, to be honest. And like, so the No Child Left Behind, it forced the system to push kids through that didn't meet the criteria, that should have been held back. Even if it's just 1 year, some kids for emotional maturity issues, there's other reasons why children should and often do get held back a year in earlier grades, which is fine because everybody develops at their own pace. But No Child Left Behind forced so many people to get, and so many children to get pushed along and pushed along. And now we have a generation of children who, yeah, they can read, but they don't have reading comprehension. So they can't really comprehend and digest what they're reading to understand it in its full context as, say, we would. Or older generations would.
Yeah,
But then you also look at them dismantling the Department of Education and defunding everything.
Let me give Doc his chance, then we're gonna move on to the next one. Doc, what did you think?
I think I kind of agree with Ken to a point where I do believe that, you know, both of them are slinging us the same thing. But I think the problem with Republicans and conservatives is they selling that blue magic. You know what I'm saying? They got the strongest, most potent thing, and they got it in your face. They have allowed these outright bigots to attach themselves to their move. Because I don't think all conservative and all Republicans are racist, but I think that they have allowed so many people to outright attach themselves to their movement without demonizing them, because they need their support to push forward their agenda. So they have overlooked at some places, allowing these people to be called out and accepted them. Is that same bilaterally? I believe so. But the Democrats have more hush hush. You know, we don't want to get a game away, and Republicans have given the game away. And not only have they given the game, it's what they've sold and got people to believe in, and it's actually how they got control, because they've made these people feel like they can be a part of them. And they shouldn't, but they need their support in order to, you know, push for any ideological ideas that they have. You know, not saying that it's good or bad. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that. But because they want to get their agenda across, they've overlooked calling these people out, and you know, so that's kind of the problem, I think, with Black people wanting to support the Republican Party.
All right, so I want to let you guys see this video. So the question is Trump afraid of Black men?
Thank you.
Let's move on, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Who is not keeping the people of Chicago safe?
All right, we're going to go to the next question. Thanks.
What do you say to Donald Trump? How did you feel when Donald Trump called you incompetent? What did you feel?
All right, he just addressed this. Thanks.
Please answer that question. If you would.
Okay, fine. Since you are begging, I do believe that Donald Trump is intimidated. I know. I think.
Okay, no interruptions.
So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I will just say it like this: that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of Black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms because he's small.
Slim, is Trump afraid of Black men?
Hell no. And coming from the mayor of Chicago, really? Come on, man. He should be the last one talking, man. Yo, this is crazy to me, man, because at the end of the day, right, you know, I was talking to my daughter about this, and she started to get on the blackity black racist issue. And I started thinking, I said, yo, Jay, when we were younger, we didn't care about that shit, man. When we were kids, we were growing up. I ain't never really had no problems with no white boys. My mama said, never said, watch them white boys at the corner. When people went and voted, there was a curtain, man. They shut down the schools. People went in the thing. They closed the curtain. Nobody knew who the hell they voted for. It is what it is. Now, all of a sudden, Donald Trump is the worst white man in the world. But there was mad white presidents before then. I know Black people voted for these white people. And there wasn't no talk about racism back then. Like, we came so far. And it seems like we're more worried about racism today as opposed to when we were in the 80s, 70s. Like, it's crazy today how far we've came. We don't even acknowledge that shit. Like, we don't even acknowledge that, you know, slaves didn't even have these opportunities that we have today, just to be able to walk down the street, just to be able to start your own business and be the complexion. Like, we don't even acknowledge these things, and that's what throws me off. because we would rather focus on something that really don't matter. Because I don't know no slaves. Like right now, I can't call nobody be like, yo, man, we're gonna get you off the plantation. I don't know nobody like that. And that's what throws me off, man, because we so focused there when there's so much other things to focus on. And that's where I'm gonna leave it, man. I'm good though.
Doc, is Trump afraid of black men?
Nah, I don't think Trump is afraid of black men. Trump has shown to have a strong disdain for anyone who disagrees with him, of any race, color, ethnic background. He'll fire you if you disagree with anything he says. So I don't think he's afraid of race. I think he'd allow a black man to nod his head and agree with him the same way he'd allow a white man to nod his head and agree with him. You know, as long as you agree. I disagree with Slim talking about we wasn't afraid of race. Slim, I'm from Savannah, Georgia. We always been worried about that. The 80s, the 90s. That's always been a thing.
I'm from the Bronx. I never experienced it.
See, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about New York back in the 80s and 90s. It's always been a thing down here in the South, though.
We was always worried about our own.
I don't think he's afraid of black men. I don't think that's a narrative we should paint about him. But I think he's afraid of anybody with a strong opinion that might not coincide with his own. I think that is a thing, but I don't think that has race attached to it for him.
Ken, same question.
I don't think Trump is afraid of black men. I mean, a lot of black men would have to be competitors to be afraid, right? And I remember Trump standing next to Don King. I remember Trump standing next to Muhammad Ali. I grew up, Donald Trump has been a major part of my life, my entire life. The last 10 years it's been different. But growing up, every popping black person from Reverend Jesse Jackson to Mike Tyson, Young Jock said, little boys in the hood call me Black Donald Trump, right? So Trump has always stood next to black men. I think that narrative, I don't subscribe to talking from a position of weakness. That is a thing. It's layered to make niggas feel good. And I don't subscribe to that, right? At the end of the day, this is an individual that thrives off competition, putting you out of business. You know what I'm saying? Little shit like that. To be afraid of black men? No. Black men are afraid of black men. I don't know if Donald Trump is afraid of black men.
King J?
I wouldn't say Trump is afraid of black men, but I will say that his voter base, I believe his voter base is very afraid of the upcoming black men and black women that's coming up, because we know, especially when we talk about black women are getting education out the ass. When we talk statistically, black women are very educated now. So of course they're afraid. That's why as soon as he got in, he cleared house. We have to acknowledge that. I think so far as what some of my older folks are going to say, and I'm surprised somebody from New York said what he said, especially when we talk about the 80s and 90s, when we was talking about the all-white police force that y'all had out there that was doing stop and frisk. We don't remember that? We don't remember stop and frisk, huh? When they was pulling y'all asses over. When they was pulling y'all asses over and just pulling you out because you was black. That wasn't a thing. So it just...
You said they was all white?
To me, when we talk about these things, because we have to realize like this shit is a lot of racism is still playing a heavy part in the system and in the government and the way people vote. You're right. It was a lot of people you go behind the sheets and motherfuckers wouldn't know how you would vote. But I'm almost willing to bet my left arm and my left leg that granddad and grandma was not voting conservatively. Ronald Reagan was the worst thing that ever happened to the black community.
My point is they all had to vote for a white man. Period.
But what I'm saying,
Trump ain't the worst. Y'all act like Trump is the worst white man ever in history.
Terrorists that you was referencing, the Republican Party was the most terrifying thing to the black community at the time. They destroyed it.
The black community created the Republican Party.
Well, let's ask a white person. Heaven, what do you think?
Why'd you have to put it like that?
I'm just saying.
I think he's racist, but I think a narcissist only looks at people or as objects. They're not people to him. It doesn't matter what color you are. You're a means to an end. What can he get from you? That's my opinion on it.
Do you think that's different from all presidents? Do you think he's that's just him, or you think that's been all presidents this country's had so far, at least the last 30 years?
America is a racist country founded on racist roots. Okay? Every system then built atop those racist roots has racism built into it. That's why it's systemic.
Well,
The police started as what? Slave patrol. So you think that mentality didn't carry through into the training? It did.
I got a surprise for all you guys. My bad, Heaven. Because this is a flashback, and this is Trump in 1989. So I want y'all to hear what Trump had to say, and I'll let y'all have your own opinion.
I think today that a well-educated black person, male or female, has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white person. And I felt that for a long time. And I hope that anybody in the audience that's black and is watching can hear me say this. And I'm talking now as a person that employs thousands and thousands of people. A well-educated black has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white in terms of the job market. And I think sometimes a black may think that they don't really have the advantage or this or that, but in actuality, today, currently, it's a great, I've said on occasion, even about myself, if I was starting off today, I would love to be a well-educated black because I really believe they do have an actual advantage today.
Heaven, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, so I'll go to you first. What do you think about what Trump said?
That is probably the mentality he still has, which is why he has taken away all DEI completely. So
you look
I think that plays to like the white man's want to be oppressed. No, they have it better than even white people now. Really?
Slim, you over there laughing? You look shocked. What you think?
I'm not shocked because I know that clip.
Okay.
What's so funny is that the clip is designed to basically show how he feels as a person towards us. Like, it's not designed to show that he's racist towards us. He's giving us a compliment as a young individual. But the way the Democrats look at it is the flip.
I'm not a Democrat.
No.
I'm not a Democrat.
The way the Trump haters look at it is the flip
I'm
side.
not a Trump hater.
That's all
Okay.
it is. It's either the last election is either if you hated the country more or you hated Trump more. That's basically
I didn't vote because I will not vote in my system of oppression, and I'm not going to vote for an 80-year-old old man. Look,
there's nobody oppressed. You only oppress yourself when you keep saying it to yourself. Your mind is so powerful.
That's all well and good. See, we can get into that's a whole different topic.
No, but that's the reality. That's where we are. Whatever we think,
here's the thing.
Correct.
But here's the thing. What you need to understand is there's the way that we can control our individual realities and the way the system works.
What system?
The system of laws and checks and balances, the system that we're all cogs in.
I've been on this with you. What system?
Correct.
I've been with you. What system?
Do you have a license? Do you have a license?
Driver's license?
Yes. So you had to go to the DMV and you had to take a test and register your car, and that's a system.
Okay,
There's a system involved in there. Department of Education handles a lot of things when it comes to all the different systems they run.
But heaven though, how does that hurt us?
Well, let's see what King J had to say. King J, how you
I
talk
think
about system and everything? Go ahead.
I think what heaven is talking about is a system where a white man can run over a 7-year-old child and not be charged in Georgia. I think that's the system that she's talking about. But when she's referring to a system, she's talking about a system that doesn't hold people accountable because of the color of your skin. When you have a community that is over policed but holds the most exoneration. She's talking about a system where these folks can sneak into 10-year-old children's bedrooms and get 1 day in jail, 1 day in prison,
or none. Or none.
That's the system
that's the system you talking about?
Or none.
How many times that be going down?
So
what is affecting us?
What'd you say?
I want to know how many times this is happening, because I don't know if this is consistently happening. That is,
I can tell you regularly.
Statistically, we know that blacks get harsher penalties for doing crime. That's statistically proven.
So why do crime?
But
because poverty, the system of poverty.
Let's get
that's why those things that were in place that Donald Trump was talking about that gave blacks his term. You're a fucking human. You're not a black. Sorry.
I did want to make one more statement. And so far as what Trump was saying, he feel like we have the advantage.
We do.
He would never know because he's not walking in my skin. And Slim, respectfully, brother, and I mean this respectfully, you made $1 million. You said this before. There's not too many brothers like you that can say they made $1 million. You are the exception to the rule.
No,
you have to
come from where you come from.
You have to listen to the people that's not in your shoes. It's easy for us to judge and say stuff about other people and their predicaments when we're no longer living in that. And that even accounts for myself. Sometimes I even have to check myself because I'm living in comfort. But there's somebody like that look just like me and you that have tried many avenues that me and you've been through and has not been successful.
King J, I came from rats, roaches, projects. The only difference, bro, I listen to opportunities. And I tell people all the time, POOR, P-O-O-R, passing over opportunities regularly. That's the only difference, bro. I'm just like you. That's why I don't fall into that stuff. Because I'm from the jacks. I'm from the nonsense. I'm from all of that. I took food stamps to the store for my mama. The only difference is I got tired of it. That's it. So I don't believe I'm better than nobody else. That's why it hurts, because of the way we think sometimes. And all you got to do is change that thought process. You have no idea how powerful this is. I'm telling you, bro. It ain't about where you're from, it's where you're mentally.
Hold on, King. Let's get Doc and King in the conversation. Doc, you said ask Heaven about all the presidents being racist. Does that clip make Trump look racist?
I think every president was racist.
Does that clip make Trump look racist? No, I don't think that clip makes Trump look racist. Trump has not evolved his ability to like talk with sense when he's talking about people of a different ethnic background. His delivery is just bad. It's crazy that video is from the 80s and he got the same delivery in 2025. I would think somebody who made as much money as he did would have a better delivery. I don't think Trump knows if black people have the advantage. I don't think Trump has ever, really sat down and had an earnest conversation with black people who were not somebody who had made it to him, but were on the way up and trying to change their life. So I think even if Slim does great and he has a great life, for every one nigga they let make it, I think it's 1,000 that the system is in place that was never put here for black people to succeed is going to hold back. Do I think we have to realize that and do better and work harder to create a better future for ourselves? Yes. But do I think that this system was put in place for us to succeed? I mean, no. It's obvious that's a no. But I think it's just we have to work harder, and we have to realize that. I think part of the game is realizing that and doing what you have to do to succeed and be successful.
Ken, do black people have the advantage in America? You're muted. You're muted.
I think in 1988, when Trump was saying that, he had a peer that I think would trigger and inspire him to talk like that. And his peer was a man named Reginald Lewis. And Reginald Lewis built $1 billion black company in the 80s. His book is called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? So I think he's classist, right? Naturally, right? Because what he comes from. But there was a man that built $1 billion company in the 80s. And I think that would fuel the way that he talks. Also, I brought this up before. He studied under a man named Norman Vincent Peale, and it's the art of positive thinking, right? So how he may talk and how he may look of something, his delivery, whatever, I know what his school of thought is. So when he's saying that about Black Americans, I assume he's talking about Black Americans and how a Black American with wiggle does got the advantage. I mean, I got tattoos on my face and I'll be wiggling harder than white boys. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm a felon. I got all the shit. So all the statistics, right? Is there a level of luck required in the game? Sure. Right place, right time. Preparation meets opportunity. But I'm saying though, there are some people that look like this, that based on statistics, you be like, the system lets you through. It's like, come on, yo, how you undermining a nigga's grind? How you undermining a nigga's mindset? What you mean the system let me through? I was one decision away from doing life. He was one decision away from doing life. The difference between this dude and this dude is I called the card, the business card, when I was at the mixer. It be little shit like that. And then a lot of times, I think we also be caping for losers. So like when you look like this, you can't just call a nigga loser. Some people don't want the same shit. So if we oftentimes be caping for the people that don't want it, the language is not supported for the people that are really, they need a loan for their business. The language be for people that actually, truly, they don't want it. And then we'll be like, well, the system wasn't designed for him. He don't want it. He don't want it.
For sure, for sure.
For 2025 Forbes lists 23 Black billionaires. That's 0.8% of the total numbers of billionaires in the world. 23 out of 3,028.
How many Black people are trying to get $1 billion? That matters.
You don't think there's plenty of Black people trying to get $1 billion? There's only 23 who have gotten it.
No,
there's 0.8%.
I keep it a stack with you, bro. And I'm 41 years old. How many now outside of the streets? I'm not going to consider the streets. Just in regular life, I'm just talking about my experience. I have not come across many melanated people that want to make $1 million. Only a couple men and women that I actually have met in my life that was their thing of they are putting everything into their business and they are really trying to get rich.
But we're talking about systematically. Like when you get to $1 billion, this is a systematic thing that has allowed you to get here and everything is succeeded. Some of these people have inherited these billions through the life of their family. Years ago, there was probably 0 Black billionaires. Maybe in the 80s, that guy was the only one. There's only 23 in another 40, 22 in another 40 years.
Jeremiah Hamilton was rich in the 1880s off the stock market. You have Mary Ellen Pleasant. There is a book called Black Fortunes. When you look at
he did well. I'm talking about the Rothschilds. I'm talking about the Carnegies. I'm talking about the people who have systematically controlled this country the way money is done, the way everything is done since the foundation that this country was built on. People who sent us to Iraq to take over so they can put in an American central banking system. People who sent us over there to Libya to do the same. So what I'm not talking about a couple people. I'm talking about the system. That's part of the system. The Rothschilds controlling the American central banking system and sending us to countries to fight to set that in place. That's the system. And it's never gonna. You're never gonna see the Black man is never gonna be the Rothschild. It's never gonna be the Williams up there. It's never
That's
gonna
not-
happen. And
That's
that's
not
part
true.
of the system.
That's not true because you got black Prince Hall Masons right now doing the same fraternity shit. The white boy just had a leg. He had an opportunity first. But you see black men doing the same gatekeeping shit. Now, you just got to wait a second, give it 100 years, and you're going to have the same structural shit that locks out the people at the bottom, and they're going to build their family and build that system the same exact way as the white boy did. The white boy just had a couple 100-year advantage, but niggas about to do the same exact shit on their black elitists. When you're looking at the Rock Nation brunches, those are your new black elite. They're going to do the same exact thing, bro.
All right, for sure, guys. It was a great show. We'll get to the final thoughts. King J, what's your final thoughts?
It was a great show. My biggest thing for everybody is like we have to acknowledge that America has these systems in place where systematic racism is very much a real thing. I'll even take one of my own personal instances. You know, where I'm at right now, I'm comfortable. I'm still grinding. I'm still waking up 4 o'clock in the morning trying to get to where I'm trying to go so far as retirement and being able to put back into my family structure. But it took a long time and it took a lot of no's versus when Johnny that can't read, that's getting C's in college, got a yes where I got a no and I had a fucking B in this fucking because I'm black. So we know that these systems are in place. My biggest issue is with people that we have to acknowledge this shit and be like, hey, look, this is a problem. You're absolutely right. Then we could begin to have discussions like, okay, even though we know these problems are in place, what are you going to do about it? I could respect the conversation more if somebody straight up acknowledged saying, yes, you do have the odds against you, but what are you going to do about it? So that's my biggest takeaway from the night. I just wish that people would be like, you know what, this is a problem. We do need to address this. But until we address this, let's focus on just yourself.
For sure. Slim, what's your final thoughts?
Oh, man. I just want to say, man, to anyone out there listening, man, always program in your mind that you can do better. Don't let nothing hold you back. If you allow that mentally, it can hold you back. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about. If you always have a negative thought in your mind about something, that's how things come about. I tell people that all the time, man. Like, I used to just think about finding money, and you know what? A day later, I might find $10 on the floor. That's real, man. It's called The Secret. It's a book called The Secret. It's all about the law of attraction, man. Whatever you put in your mind, you could achieve it. And that works the opposite way as well. So whatever you're saying negative, it can happen, man. So always think positive. Always know that you can thrive. Don't let nobody hold you back because we Americans, man. That's just what it is. I'm out.
Doc, what's your final thoughts?
I think we got to realize, going back to something that Ken said earlier, I don't think one side is better for Black or white people or Americans. I think both of these sides are profiting off us. I think these people have changed the lives of their lineage for an eternity. All of these people are doing what's best for them, and they got the rest of us in a frenzy fighting. I think as a country, we're going to have to come together, figure out what's best for the American people. We're going to have to put American people in these positions, in Congress and in these seats, and that want to do what's right for just the regular American people. And until we do that, I think it's going to be a lot of us going back and forth and fighting and not really realizing that we're not the problem. These people who profited off of this country and turning it into an ATM for themselves, they're the problem.
Heaven, what's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts for today is that we are in a class war, and these things that are being done by the administration are they're state violence. They're authorized state violence against people who don't have a lot. And we continue to do and set up the same systems. We don't need a revolution. We need an evolution where we grow into something better, because clearly what we've been trying hasn't worked for anyone.
For sure. Ken, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is over 20 years ago, I was a super revolutionary. I was into the Weather Underground. I was reading Huey P. Newton, Revolutionary Suicide. I was into the Black Liberation Army. I mean, I was ready to be a martyr, right? And then I figured out that I was against an empire, right? So I can't tear this system down. The only thing I could tear down is my thinking and approach to it, because the only way through something is going in it, right? So I can't solve the collective's problems because it would be very elitist for me to decide what's best for millions of other people, right? The only thing that I can change in this empire is my approach to the empire. And my approach to the empire, that one thing that I've seen has been able to change my individual condition, was change my mind, right? And again, I know about all the systems because, you know, that was the fight that I was fighting. But the real fight that I was fighting was internal shit, right? Because the real system that matters that we have to fix is our nervous system and this system right here. So if you fix this, right, it'll give you a better boxing stance to fight the empire. Don't forget, it's an empire, and you're not about to tear it down. You're not about to dismantle it. The only thing you could do is figure out how to survive it. And the best way that I know how to survive it is personal development.
For sure. If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. My final thoughts, we do this Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow we'll have an interview with Secret Service Sam. If you don't know who he is, he covered the Diddy trial closely. He was a comedian. Nora actually got to go meet him with Enzo when they went and covered the Diddy trial. We covered that completely live. So we'll be covering that, and we'll also be covering the reaction to one radical black chick versus 20 black conservatives. And one of the people that actually got to go debate her was on the new party. He's a regular guest. He comes on here. It's a MAGA pastor. I forgot his name on there, but we'll be reacting to that. So we got a lot of big stuff coming with you guys. Thank y'all for watching Man Cave.